Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Robinson, and we are going to continue our studies. We have two of my students, Willie and Nicola. Nicola's asking how high should he shoot his arrow, and Willie wants to know who are we talking about. So if you remember, we were talking last about Sokotoa, and his horse was being chased by a lion, and we figured out in our previous video the angle that Sokotoa used to shoot his arrow up the mountain in the heart of the lion to kill it. Now the question remains, how high up does he shoot the arrow? So we're going to continue our studies and figure out what is the height so we can save the horse. So our topic today is trigonometric ratios, finding the side. So we're finally going to find the side where the horse is being sought after by the lion. So steps to find the side by using a calculator. Step 1, set the calculator's mode to degrees. Step 2, press the trigonometric ratio you're using. Step 3, type your fraction or decimal. Step 4, close the parenthesis. Step 5, press enter. Step 6, round off your answer if necessary. So this is pretty much like the other steps, but the only difference between the other steps in the last video, we had to press second last time to see Sokotoa and his arrow. This time we're not, because we know what angle Sokotoa is shooting. Now we're determining what is the side, so we don't have to press second. So everything is the same except you're not pressing second. So, just like before, we also have to do the same steps. So we have here, we're finding the missing side of a right triangle, rounding off to the nearest whole number. And we have we have 37 degrees, and we have 10 yards. Now, Sokotoa is usually here, standing, and now I see 37 degrees, which means he's standing here at a 37-degree angle, aiming at this spot over here, which is missing. And he's going to shoot the lion to kill it, so that way he can protect his horse. So let's see, all the way across is there, the letter A. So that's related to Sokotoa. That would be the opposite side of where Sokotoa is standing. So I'm going to call that the O. So I know it says A, but that's the value of the variable. So that's the opposite side. Here we have our number that is across from the right angle, and that means we know that is the hypotenuse. So we have a hypotenuse. Let me put a check there like we did before in the other movie. And we have an opposite side. So let me put a check for the opposite and a check for this opposite. So let's see, we need two checks to determine which trigonometric ratio we're going to use. So I see two checks for sine, only one check for cosine, because there is no adjacent. So if Sokotoa is standing here, there's nothing here. And we need, again, the adjacent for tangent, so we cannot use tangent. So tangent and cosine are no good for us. So we can use sine, which is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So we have our sine of 37 degrees. That's the angle that Sokotoa is standing at, and that's going to equal to the value of A, whatever that is, over the hypotenuse, which is 10. So now to solve for A, do we just cross multiply? This time we put a 1 underneath here. 1 times A, which would give us A, and 10 times sine of 37 degrees. That would equal to A. So now all we need is our calculator. So let's get our calculator up and help us out. So let's clear this. So we have a is equal to 10, and we could say times the sine of 37, or we can just write sine. Remember, we don't have to press second because we know the angle that SOHCAHTOA is shooting. 37, close our parenthesis, and press enter, and we get 6.0181503232. So that is the value of the angle. So we got to round that off to the nearest whole number. So I go next door to the decimal point, and that's 0. So if it's 5 or above, I would shove up the 6 by 1, but it's 4 or below, I'll let it go. So I let all that stuff go, and that'll give me 6. So my answer would be just 6 yards. So 6 yards is the value of A. So A is equal to 6 yards, and let's erase over here, and there is the horse. I don't know why that keeps dropping down like that. So there is our horse. So he's at 6 yards. So we've rescued the horse, and we found where he's at. So remember, it's pretty much the same process now, except now you're finding the value of the angle that SOHCAHTOA is shooting, and then cross-multiplying to solve for a missing side, which is where the horse is located. So let's try this page. This page is giving you practice, like the other page, with using your calculator to find these values of the side. So let's look at the first one, sine 48. So just press sine 48, and you'll see how much that equals to in measurement. It's a decimal number. Usually we use 4 places, so that's how much it's equal to. So you can practice to see how much these are equal to when you are wondering what angle is SOHCAHTOA shooting at. So let's keep going. Here's one we can try. Find the missing side of a right triangle, round off to the nearest whole number. So we have SOHCAHTOA down here at the bottom of the cliff. He's aiming over here to shoot the lion that's going to try to eat his horse, and he's got to shoot way across on the other side of the mountain. And if you remember, that is the opposite side. So this will give me my opposite side, because it's way across on the other side. So SOHCAHTOA would be standing here at the 32-degree aiming, and right next to him, and next to is adjacent, is 20 meters. I notice there is no hypotenuse. There is no hypotenuse. So since there is no hypotenuse, I'm going to cross out the ones that have a hypotenuse because I cannot use them. Because there is no hypotenuse. I need 2 parts to solve it. So I'm going to use the tan of 32 degrees, and that's going to equal to the opposite, x, over the 20 adjacent. And now all I got to do, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, all I got to do is put a 1 underneath here, and then I'm going to cross multiply. 1 times x is x, and 10 times 10 of 32 times 20 will give me 20 times 10 of 32 degrees. And now I need my calculator one more time, so let me go and get it. So let's clear this out. So x is equal to 20 times 10 of 32 degrees, close my parenthesis, and that'll give me 12.49738704. And I got to round this off to the nearest whole number again. So my answer is going to be, let's see, that goes to, after the decimal point is a 4. If it's 5 or above, I would shove up this, but it's 4 or below, so I got to let everything go. So it's going to be 12. So my answer is going to be 12. 12 meters. So I hope you got something out of this so far, and that you're understanding that we are doing the same process that we did before. We need to figure out what two parts of SOHCAHTOA's names are we given here in the triangle. So we were given an adjacent side, and we were given over here the opposite side, and we were given an angle. So we need the angle because that's what we're going to figure out, but there was no hypotenuse, so that's why I crossed off sine and cosine, because there was no hypotenuse. I need two parts. I had an opposite side and I had an adjacent side. So tangent is the one I was going to use because I had two things. So tan of 32 degrees, because that's how far SOHCAHTOA is aiming, equals opposite over adjacent, and then cross multiply and solve using your calculator. So here's one for you to try, and I think you'll get it right if you practice using the steps that we've done. So find SOHCAHTOA's horse, and did we, wait a minute, we did not find SOHCAHTOA's horse. Let's see, where's SOHCAHTOA's horse? There he is. There's SOHCAHTOA's horse over there. So we rescued him from the lion. So here's another one for you to try. Find the missing side of the right triangle. Round off to the nearest whole number. We have x. This is where the horse is hiding. 42 degrees where SOHCAHTOA is shooting. And we have 35 inches here. So remember, figure out what parts that you have and use the two parts to figure out which part of SOHCAHTOA is going to be used for the ratio, and then you'll find the horse. Use your calculator. I hope you understand what we've done so far. If you haven't, write down your questions, bring them in, watch the video again if you need to. Here's one more question I think you might find interesting. In order to find the missing horse, here we have SOHCAHTOA standing up here on the top side of the mountain. So find the missing side. Down here is where the horse is hiding. Round up to the nearest whole number. So give it a shot. I think you'll like it. And if you want to know what's behind this, there's a little surprise for you when you come to class. And I hope you'll be ready for our surprise. So this is Dr. Robinson signing off. I'll see you next time in class. Bye-bye. Bye.